Welcome everyone, this is Saskia from Los Angeles Guinea Pig Rescue, your favorite crazy guinea pig lady, probably. We're gonna do a little walkthrough, I'm gonna have them here, I'm gonna show them here, of all our special piggies this month. So there's a few that have something going on that we've been working on fixing. We have some surgeries that we did. I want to show you the befores and afters, some really interesting stuff. And let's start with Emmanuel. He's enjoying his little num-nums. The good boy. He's an older gent. We love him. He's such a sweet, chill guy. He was with Cerebus. They were in a Midwest cage. He developed bumblefoot, and he actually started biting on his foot and made it all bloody and horrible, and we couldn't stop him from biting it. So we then got a cone on him, and the cone really worked to the point that he stopped biting it. The leg was no longer open, the foot. So you can see still here, you can see the whole ridge from the cone because we took it off today and he's not been eating his foot. So this is good. So can we see? All right, let's go look at his palsy. So as you can see, it's just still very thick, but this is less than it was. This looks like it's getting better, believe it or not. This is much better than when I showed it before. So he's still on antibiotics. We're still going to continue on. Unfortunately, when you have guinea pigs like this that have this really bad kind of foot that looks like, you know, may have infected the bone, you'll never be able, often, not always though, but be able to get it back to normal, 100% normal. It's heartbreaking, but unfortunately, it's not always possible. So, but we're going to fight as always and do our best for him. So yeah, you're one of our special kids. And he gets lots of CBD, of course. He's on medication, he gets pain medication, and then CBD is almost a given here. We give it to all of them because it is an amazing painkiller. I keep saying it and I get all excited when I talk about it because it really is amazing. Let's see if I have some here to show. No, I'll find it later. It's like you put it on and the lights go on in the eyes, especially with this, the elderly, with the you know, the old age pensioners. The seniors, it is really amazing. They'll start to walk a lot more if you have an old senior piggy kind of on his last legs. And I'm telling you, you're gonna do so much favor to your pig if you just start giving him some CBD. They'll start walking more. They'll come out more. They'll start begging for treats again. They'll do all kinds of stuff that they kind of stop doing because sometimes when they get older, they just tend to sit and just like, you know, waiting to die almost. But the CBD gives them a second leash on life. It's second wind. It's amazing. Okay, enough about that. Let's go grab my second pig. Jonah. Jonah is an older man who lived with Tarzan, and he had a very bad grease gland tumor, which we removed. Oh, you're smelling Emmanuel on that blanket. It was removed, and I'm gonna put here a photo of what it looks like as well before. And the surgery took forever to schedule. It was over a month before we could actually get on the surgery schedule at Dr. Kemper's. So we had him for maybe even 2 months because it's crazy to get appointments with good exotic vets right now. It takes a long time. So finally his time came, but in the meantime what I discovered is that he had developed a mammary gland tumor, seemingly popped out of nowhere. So we have to remove that. So he had 2 surgeries in one. And this is his tagamat. We gotta actually clean this. This is to prevent the skin where the suture is to directly be on the dirty floor. So this will actually, we have to clean that one out and replace it with another one. But yeah, he had a pretty big surgery. I was worried about him because he wasn't eating much when he came home. And that's about 2 days ago, just happened. And his surgery, I think, came to about, I don't have the estimates here, man, I'm always so well unprepared when I do the video, sorry. the first estimate that came in, which is they do a high-end and a low-end estimate, okay? The high-end estimate came in, I think, over $2,000 for his surgeries. Then what you want to do when you're doing a surgery, you want to look at the estimates and see what it is that they're proposing to want to do, okay? There's a lot of things with a lot of surgeries that you don't actually need, so you can really save yourself a lot of money. Often people kind of do it anyway because, well, the vet says I should, so I probably should do it, right? But there's a few things that you can, in certain instances, that you can forego, which would be blood work. If it's just a simple removal, we always say no blood work. We always say no x-rays. We already know what it looks like. I don't need to see the x-rays. And then no histopathology, which means that the lumps, that they will send it off to the lab. I have no need for this to know what this is, right? It never grows back with guinea pigs, so I don't need to know what it is. These are the two things removed from him. Can you see it good? It's kind of hard to see because maybe why don't we put a little closer to the light, Valerie? Go there.
There we
That
go.
is his mammary gland tumor with the nipple still on it.
And you can see it, and you can see the veins that developed.
And the veins, yes. And the doctor said, which is interesting, that she had a lot of trouble not with the mammary gland, but with the grease gland tumor. Can you believe it? Because that looked like it was just hanging on a thread. But she said there was this artery that we had to, you know, go around. And she goes, that was really the hardest part here. Sorry. The hardest part. So yeah, and that's crazy. I ask for these because obviously I love this stuff. I think it's so fascinating, and we learn from it too. You know, it's a lot of learning. And when people come here and they have a guinea pig with, you know, a mammary gland tumor, I can say, hey, you know, this is what it looks like. This has got to come out. You can't leave it there. So it really is a great tool for, you know, teaching people as well. But you're doing great. Yes, you're doing great, and we love you. You're gonna go back to Tarzan soon, okay? Just a little too soon, maybe. Owner surrender, and we realized that Giovanni, when we did his incoming health check, had lumps under his neck, which is kind of unusual, and he is a little skirmish and skittish. He had multiple lumps, actually, and it's kind of feels a little swollen now. He had, like, when I felt it, it felt like 3 different lumps, and one felt kind of attached, and I'm like, you know, that is not a straightforward, you know, kind of removal that needs surgery. So we did, and this is what came out. There were these multiple pockets with this stuff in it. Now the vet called it a abscess, but you know, I have to actually ask her a little more questions about that. And I'm not a vet. I think everybody knows that by now. I'm not a veterinarian. Don't pretend to be. I just love guinea pigs, and my passion in life is to learn about them and how, you know, we can do things better. You know, that's really important, how, you know, certain vets can do certain procedures better, because I've seen certain procedures done different ways. I'm like, surely this one makes more sense, and with less abscesses. I'm talking specifically about neuter surgery. So you know, you'll be hearing a lot about my research, because I'm going to share it. So anyway, he is eating a little bit now. We've been syringe feeding him. You got a lot of energy, dude. That's good. It was touch and go because he wasn't really eating, so we were very concerned. But it seems that he's doing okay. You're doing okay. All right. Hi, we're back with Jim. Jim is, oh, he's such a love. I love him so much. He's a young male. He and his brother came from the Baldwin shelter. Now, that particular shelter have started to neuter all their males, which I've never heard a shelter doing that. And then spaying the females, they started doing that. So we've had one female they spayed that was looking a little rough, that we had to care for a while before she was better. So we wondered about, you know, gosh, hoping they now have become better at their spays and neuters. Now, so a few things with this guy. He has, for one, let me show you. And I don't even know so much if I can show you or if I can feel it, but I can feel, see, his testicles are gone. I can feel lump right here. Big lump. Goes all the way around here on this side of his weenie. And then this side, not really. So there's a big lump here. Now that is, I'm almost guaranteed that that is an abscess that came as a result of the neuter. This is his little weenie, and what they do, okay, there's ways of doing the neuters, okay? You can either do them like this, where they go in from the top and literally next to the little weenie, and they make an incision here and then start digging for the testicles. Now, my friend in the Netherlands, if you're interested, go watch my surgery video. It is on my channel. Just put neutering surgery. And it's my friend in the Netherlands who is like the expert on neutering guinea pigs. She does like, oh my goodness, 3,000 a year or something crazy. People come from all over Europe to have her neuter their guinea pigs. Her loss rate is non-existent. And I know why, because I was there. So what she does, which is very different, is that she finds the testicle. She then makes a tiny incision in the testicle, and then she can pop it out through a little piece of skin, teeny incision. So she's not going anywhere up here. Then she pops it out and then clamps it, cuts it, and then sews it all back together. Then the skin gets sewed back together, gets put back in, and that is done. The whole surgery is 7 minutes. And she does it with a cocktail, not intubating, not, you know, anything fancy. It's a cocktail of 3 drugs that get injected, and that's it. Boom, done. And her, they are beautiful. After you see them after she's done, they are really amazing work. Not that I would know, because I'm obviously not a vet, but I can just look at it and like, wow, yeah, that looks really nice. So, okay. Next thing he developed was under his chin. He started developing these lumps. And he's still got a little one here. That is so common in guinea pigs, that they have these lumps under their chin. Oftentimes those are abscesses, but they could also be lipomas that are just like developed, and a lipoma, is like a lipoma tumor, are just like fatty. Actually, I thought that these look like lipomas. They're like fatty and irregular fat that grows under the skin, and guinea pigs have them. Sometimes the older ones underneath here in the flap, you will feel, if you have an older guinea pig, you will feel them right here, these little bumps. Some get a lot. You feel them underneath as well. You can feel them on the belly. So those can sometimes also be confused with something else. And those are harmless unless they super grow. Now, this guy has, I did poke it, which means I just put a small gauge needle in to see what it is, and I was able to suppress quite a bit of it to get out of it, which now it's at the point when there's really nothing there, and there's just this little one here that we're hoping is going to go away, and it is going away with the antibiotics. So that prevents like having to, you know, cut it and put the pig under. It's just a needle. You put the cold spray on it. They don't feel a thing. And that's how you kind of get that lump down and assess, and then help the antibiotics take over and do the job. So that's, you got a few things, buddy. And he's the sweetest little guy. He's so sweet. He really is very tame, and for his age, that's unusual. But he's not available yet. I'm sorry. Maybe in a couple of weeks, a month. Okay, next. So Jupiter, some of you remember Jupiter. He came in what we thought was a heart disease. He had a upper respiratory that was completely chronic, like no antibiotic that we used worked. So under the guidance of our veterinarian, we used just about everyone that is in our arsenal, right? Nothing helped. Now, when that happens, we usually think heart disease, because that is what we've always said. You know what? If it's a upper respiratory, it's chronic, it has to be heart disease. So I'm like, you know what? I want to know if that's what he's got. So we made an x-ray, a side x-ray, chest x-ray to see. And what we found was just blew our minds, because what we found is that he has calcified bullous, which means that the middle ear here, which is a very small little pocket actually there, the tympanic bulla, he has like media otitis, which means that he has kind of like a really terrible ear infection, but one that is on both sides. That doesn't behave like a normal ear infection. So I've been doing a whole bunch of tests, x-rays, nasal. I did a nasal on him. I'm waiting for for it to come back. I want to see what bugs are causing this, because he is just constantly sneezing and he's got, you know, gunk coming out of his nose. So that was amazing. Now, when I saw that, a little light went on. I'm like, oh my goodness, what if all those pigs that people have that have a chronic upper respiratory and they think that the pig has a heart disease, maybe they don't. Let's do some x-rays on these guinea pigs. And we did. We had a boarder here who had this chronic upper respiratory, owner been tried for years to do something about it. X-ray shows chronic bulla. I'm going to show you some of the x-rays as well while we're talking. I'm going to put them on the screen. There was a lady on our group chat that Weakers, actually, that's my own group on Facebook, where everybody can come and ask questions and hopefully get a good answer. A lady said the same thing. My pig has an upper respiratory. It's chronic, doesn't go away. And she summed up everything that is so typical about that. And she said, I'm going to the vet tomorrow. And I said, listen, have the vet do an x-ray. So the next day she contacted me and she said, I did the x-ray. And you are 100% right. There was this bulla that was all messed up. But she said, my vet didn't even notice it. That's crazy. She said, I had to point it out on the x-ray. And then he was blown away that I even knew what I was like looking at. And he said, oh, shoot, yeah, oh, wow. So that was funny. I wanted to mention that. So yeah, he's got that. And what can be done about it? Well, I haven't found anything, because this is exactly the same thing that my Buddha boys have. All 5 of them have been having this. So we don't know much about it. You know, I think they are contagious, because they're giving it to each other. So we're not sure, you know, we're learning. I'm going to share everything I know when we go through with all this research. But that is his story. So now he's off any medication, and he looks the same as he did when he was on the medication. So I think that whatever happens in here, it affects everything, the nasal passages, so that he's just constantly getting watery nose, watery eyes, and it all comes from right here, deep inside the head where the bulla are located. If there were any guinea pig here right now that I would take for myself, then this is the dude. This is little Hippo. He's been with us for quite some time. He has a weepy ear on this eye, a weepy eye, and he goes through stages where he's feeling good, not so good. He's eating so good, not so good eating. So it's a touch and go. We haven't really figured out what's up with him. He does not respond to the eye ointment. X-ray reveals that there's definitely something going on with his ears. Like, we think it's probably like the beginning stage. So he's definitely got stuff happening. So yeah, and you need to put weight on. You're skinny, and not for lack of food, because we feed our guinea pigs 24/7. In fact, I think we can't overfeed a guinea pig.
Everyone does say when they get their borders back that they look so much bigger.
They look healthy and a little bigger, yeah. So, Ayusha, I love you. I just love you. I just love you. Okay. So, this is Georgiana. You may have seen her on the barn floor. She's very distinct looking, so it's easy to see her. And she's a gorgeous teddy, not too old. And the reason she was there, because we deemed her, not easily adoptable, is because she had a very small cyst, very visible small cyst. It was about this big, maybe a little bigger. Now, usually we just leave those because if they don't grow, I always say don't mess with them. Once you start opening these up, then you have to continuously express it. It's sebaceous. It's a sebaceous cyst almost, like a big pimple. And unless you get the sac out, it will come back. So she wasn't that big, so we just put her in with the other ladies, and she was happy. And then I think it may have bursted a little bit, and Claire, our volunteer, who's really good with the cysts, she actually managed to clean it up and get the sac out. So now she has no sign, it's all gone, so she can be adopted. So I picked her out a few days ago, as in like a possible match for someone. And then we always do an outgoing health check for people. We don't just like, oh, here's a guinea pig, there you go. So important. There's signs here for the volunteers. Remember, make sure that all the piggies get their outgoing health check. So I did her outgoing health check, and guess what I found? And you won't be able to see it now, but I found it here, and you have to start checking your female girlies for that. Here it felt not as 100% soft. There was something in here. So that tells me, oh, there is a little stone that has traveled down and started, kind of ended up here. And then they can grow from here too. They can collect kind of calcium as well and grow a little bigger. But oftentimes you're just able with the oil to just gently massage it down, and then you can see them. You can just see the head through the urethra, and once I see the head, I always say you're mine, because I can just, with a little tool, just go like that, and then usually they'll pop out. So I'm going to show you that too, because I did that with her, and she's now ready for adoption. So that was the big find on her, when we wanted to adopt her. And you're a very healthy girl, and that cannot be comfortable. If you have a female, by the way, females should never have wet here, clumped hair around here. That means almost 100% that they have some kind of a problem here with the bladder or the urethra, that there is a stone right here, or a stone more inside, and or an infection. Okay, those often go hand in hand. So when you see wetness, hair loss, and sometimes you can even smell it a little bit, terrible thing. You've got to go to the doctor and have it, maybe an x-ray for stones, and ask for antibiotics, because usually it goes hand in hand. Okay, so Cornelia. Hi, my little love. Cornelia was fine, and then the next day she was not. And what happened is that she developed a head tilt, and because of that had a hard time walking. They will often go around in circles. They will fall over, and it's pretty significant. They will still eat. They can still definitely eat, but they often do the head bobbing, and that can also come a little more advanced, in an advanced stage of the disease. They can do head bobbing, and it's almost like they're sensing the air, because I found that these are usually deaf. They are deaf. So actually,
As well as
we
blind.
can do a depth test on her, where I'm just gonna clap my hand, and we're supposed to see a motion. Gonna come a little closer. You're supposed to see a motion from
Some
the ear.
reaction. Nothing. Not even a little tiny bit.
So and the other thing also that is telling is that there is no
Blinker.
reflex on one of the ears. So let's see.
One of the eyes.
So there's no real reflex there. You see that?
No
And
blink reflex.
What about here? Oh my sweet boy. What about here? She's closing it, but here she's definitely not. It's not quite normal reflex. What about this side, Mama? Oh, I know. It's just, what are we doing?
A little bit
So
more
this
on
is
side.
definitely better. So this eye, eventually, because of non-blinking, the inability to blink, because the facial muscles are attached.
They're paralyzed now.
The paralysis it's all to do again with that calcified bulla. X-ray done on her, and of course that's what we saw. So we actually have a nasal culture done on her because I want to see what bugs are involved in getting them to this state. I mean, it's pretty bad. They become actually severe special needs in some cases, where they get teeth issues because they can't chew properly on one side, because sometimes they have the paralysis of the face on one side. I mean, I need to get all my facts together and then do a huge video about it. Today, just now, on the group, on the Weakers group on Facebook, I had a lady talk about, she just found her guinea pig like this, and a film of it, him going around circles and circles, and that's usually, I found, happens in the first part when they just discover. Literally, they will wake up like that, from normal to all of a sudden severely handicapped. And it all depends, like I said, how many tick boxes of the symptoms they tick off, how severe their needs are. So Dr. Maneker, hear me, oh my goodness, it's Friday. Maneker suggested that we're going to rate the calcified bullous. The severity of the calcified bullous. And then we're going to compare that with the, symptoms that are being ticked off to kind of also get a better picture. The last, what I want to say about this, well, probably not the last, because you're going to hear about this for a long time. It's
the new lice, mites, and
project.
internal parasites.
It's become my life project to really study this. Oh, did I tell you about a boarder who was here who also had
Boarding.
Yeah, was boarding. Did I tell you that already? She was
Yeah.
boarding, and she had upper respiratory. That was just, I think
We
I
did the test
mentioned
on
it
her.
already.
We did the test on her.
And she also had the bulla. So, yeah, not much you can do about this, unfortunately. Very, very sad. But I'm waiting for her nasal culture to come in. And the other thing is, I realized I was talking to another lady who's helping me also figure this out and thinking with me. And her name is Jen. And she said, listen, why aren't we doing blood
tests? Yeah.
tests for viruses? And I thought, oh my goodness, yes. So that's what we're doing. I think tomorrow, if the vet has time, we're going to do, all my 5 boys and we're going to get some blood and test the blood to see what is there that shouldn't be there. And then hopefully we're getting a little step closer to figuring out exactly what is going on. And then maybe there is a difference between my boys, who are by all extent and purposes very function perfectly, high functioning, where opposed to her with the head tilt, who are having a really hard time. Is it different? Is it the same? Is it, there's so, with every answer that I'm getting, I just opens up a Pandora's box. So, but just, if you're interested in that stuff, just stay with me on my crazy ride, because
We're going to discover stuff.
It's interesting, you know, it's interesting. Well, we've already have discovered stuff. And
but we're going to get to the bottom of it.
Find anything on Google. If you Google that right now, there is no one who's made that link between upper respiratory and this calcified bulla. So, you know, I think we're onto something for sure. And I've been saying this for years, saying, listen, I don't think it's a normal ear infection. Normal ear infection is when there's one ear affected, there is pussy coming out of the ear, it smells a little bit, and it responds to antibiotics. And that is not the case here. This will not respond to antibiotics. And I hear it too on Facebook, people telling me the story. My guinea pig had this head-tail thing, I gave him antibiotics, never worked. So yeah, so she's a pretty sick little girl.
She's one of my favorites. We
I
love
know.
you.
They always get so vulnerable when they're sick like that. Okay. And then this is our girl Palm. Hi sweetheart,
She's
where you want to go? You want to run away? It's okay. Here, what about this num nums? No. Okay. So she has, look at this. This looks like a mammary gland tumor.
Whoa! That is a mammary gland tumor.
That is a mammary gland tumor.
Wow, I've never seen it splurt like that. There's a lot of pressure built up there.
Yeah. You see, this is not normal blood. This is like kind of browny stuff. And sometimes we'll do that just to get the pressure off. Yeah, I wasn't expecting it to go fly like that. Now that is 100% a mammary gland tumor. This needs out. This needs off, okay? So we have scheduled her surgery, but she can't get her surgery for quite some time. So hopefully this is not going to grow too big. Because also the other thing is, if you let this grow bigger and bigger, then the vessel system and the arteries are just gonna go feed the thing more, and it's gonna be a tough surgery for the vet to figure out where all these arteries go, because you can't just cut an artery out, you know. So yeah, crazy, right? So that's what she's got. She was an owner surrender, and the owner, I think, didn't notice that she had this until she came here and got her out of the box, because she wasn't picking her up because she was a little afraid. So we'll fix you up. So here is my little love. This is our girl who had this horrendous fungus all over her body, and the owner said she was doing everything right that we say to do, and with over-the-counter stuff, and that usually always helps. She then added an oral medication to the regime from the vet. Didn't work either. She came literally covered in white. I mean, it was just really bad, really, really miserable. So what happens when they get like that? They will just stay. They don't want to move. They're totally in pain. They just sit like that when the fungus is that bad, and that in turn makes them get bumblefoot, because what happens if you sit. And that's why, you know, remember Pedro? He had such bad fungus.
Such bad fungus.
And the more I thought about it, I'm like, he got that bumblefoot as a secondary to the fungus, because the fungus made it that he just sat there in pain, like, oh God, let this go away, let this please, let this end.
You're right.
And they don't move. And that's what it is. So now that we figure that one out, we can really look for it and do more, you know, fix it faster if we can recognize it. So as you can see, she is being treated for her little footsies. This looks so much better. And the little front footsies look so much better. And what we've done, instead of keeping her in the small hospital cage, I figured I'm gonna need to put her in the bigger cage. So you would normally think when they're like this, oh, let's keep you all nice and contained and the rest of your feet. But I'm thinking, no, she needs to get out. This is how she got it, to be in a smaller space and contained. She needs to start walking on these feet. That is what's going to get her healed. And I was right. I was thinking maybe I am right, maybe I'm not, because I'm definitely not always right. And she loves the friendship she now has with some of the girls in the sanctuary, and it's the healing is going twice as fast. So that's so good. So yeah, and then I want to talk quickly about the Buddha boys. It's good, Mom. I love you, baby. I love you. He's such an old man. He's my first pig. Well, not my first. I've had many pigs, but he's my oldest surviving guinea pig right now. And it's my man Trisket, and I've had him for about 5 years or so. And he was a little 2 years old, 3 years old when I got him. So he has always had an upper respiratory that I never ever could get rid of. So we found this with him was also an accidental find to see that he has both his bulla. That was actually eye-opening. They're all both affected, yet he doesn't have the head tilt. You can see how he's got involuntary twitches in his ear. Mm-hmm. Did you guys notice that earlier? Here, you want
there it goes. It just happened.
Go eat. So he's very, very frail. He's like on his last legs, unfortunately. The nose is runny. His eyes are crusty. We've put him on antibiotics. Right now, we are trying a new antibiotic that I've never heard of, and it's unfortunately has to be injected. It's called amikacin.
Amikacin. Yeah.
So for 2 weeks. So we'll see. For him, it doesn't look like it made a lot of difference, but I think he is so far gone and had this for so many years that I don't think we can get him better at this point. So his teeth start to overgrow a little bit. One of them, I just gotta trim it every now and then. He's just an old man. But what this taught me is that this is probably contagious, which is why I'm wearing my gloves. When I touch my boys, I wear gloves, or immediately, anybody does that, not just me. And the reason for that is, hi, I'm gonna put you back. Okay, my little baby, I love you. The reason for that is because he started sneezing. Podrick started sneezing. He started sneezing, and he's been like what for 4 months now.
Yeah, 4 or 5 months.
You've been sneezing for a while already, and again, antibiotics don't seem to work. So then I thought I'm gonna do all 5 of them. We're gonna do X-rays of their heads, and sure enough, they all have it. So amazing. That's great. Hi, I love you. Kisses. Oh, I love you so much. But that means that they're in quarantine. I just don't want to. I'm really concerned that this is contagious and that we don't know it, and that people have pigs with this and are unknowingly spreading it, because it's clearly contagious. Because look at Bamba. You'll see if you're lucky and you watch, you'll see his ear twitch. No, come on now, buddy. He's got exactly the same involuntary ear twitch.
I just saw ear twitch on Trisket.
Yeah, and he has the same thing. Now that can only be if he has got the same bugs that at the same time affected their systems at the same way, in order to both get these weird, twitches on their ears. So again, big mystery, and we're figuring it out. But that's the story. I'm going to do blood on them Saturday. We're going to check all their blood and see what's going on with that. You want cookies? I know, they're holding out. They're like, no, I don't want any of that. I want the cookies. So there you go. That was an interesting little walkthrough for January. So we're going to do this every month, February, March, April. Just everyone's got to remind me, because I get busy, I forget. But I really enjoy doing them, and I think it's really good for you guys to also know what goes on behind the scenes. It's not just, oh, we're adopting our guinea pigs. I mean, there's so much more that happens here than just, we're taking care of guinea pigs and we're adopting our guinea pigs. It's just so much more, We have Catherine here, who is a pre-med student who comes, who knows everything about guinea pigs now. If she's going to become a vet, which she will,
She's going to spread the word.
She's going to be a darn good guinea pig vet, I can tell you that, because
and she's going to teach others.
Here, and she's, we've been teaching her for like, what, 7-8 months now she's been here with us. Yeah.
Really? That long?
It's been a while.
Time flies.
And she's amazing, and she just learned everything. So, yes,
yeah, she picks it up like a sponge.
The students who are pre-med, who are maybe even already vet students, I want to work with you guys because you are the future, and you need to learn about guinea pigs, because you don't get it taught in school, unfortunately. So come on over here and we'll teach you what we know. Anyway, thank you, everybody. Love you all. It was great. Enjoyed making this video, and we'll see you soon. Mwah.